Okay, today let's start with few of the bio important diagrams. So today we are going to discuss about bio portion, some important questions along with important diagrams. So here this pathway, so already most of everyone did it. So this pathway is very important. Along with this pathway is very important. So let's recall it once. Glucose, which is 6 molecule compound, it is a 6 carbon compound in cytoplasm, converts into 3 carbon compound pyruvate, and this pyruvate undergoes 3 different cycles. That is, in presence of oxygen in mitochondria, they are important for MCQs. In presence of oxygen in mitochondria, aerobic respiration, where it will convert into carbon dioxide, water and energy. Anaerobic respiration in absence of oxygen. In absence of oxygen, it will convert into ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy. Lack of oxygen in muscle cells, it forms lactic acid and energy. Here we are getting one MCQs out of this part, or even this can be asked for long question. So here glucose converts into pyruvate. Pyruvate in presence of oxygen, it will be in mitochondria, absence of oxygen, or in muscles. Absence of oxygen, it is in yeast. Okay, 3 pathways. If they will ask, presence of oxygen is carried at which part? Mitochondria. Lack of oxygen in muscle cells, and then absence of oxygen in yeast, where it will convert into carbon dioxide, water and energy. Absence of oxygen, yeast, ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy, and this we call fermentation. Lack of energy, it forms lactic acid. Due to formation of lactic acid, we get muscle cramp. And next question, why the rate of respiration in aquatic animals is more? Aquatic animals such as fish take in water through their mouth and push it out from their gills. The dissolved oxygen from water is taken by the blood and carbon dioxide is released out. So here, as the amount of dissolved oxygen is less compared to atmospheric oxygen, so the rate of respiration in aquatic animals is more. So this question is important. So we'll be going chapter wise here. So first, let's start from the beginning onwards. Nutrition in amoeba is one of the important topic. They'll ask about the diagram. They'll be representing like nutrition in amoeba is having 5 steps: ingestion, digestion, absorption and assimilation, and egestion. Ingestion, it gets food by forming pseudopodia. So pseudopodia is a false leg-like structure which develops around the organism. And then both the tips will get connected, get combined, and there is a formation of food vacuole where the food is stored. Inside the food vacuole, it will release enzymes which will digest the food, and the waste is given out by egestion. So here you need to remember, amoeba get its food by phagocytosis, that is by forming false foot-like structure, and its mode of nutrition is holozoic. Its mode of nutrition is holozoic. This diagram is important. Then human digestive system. Out of human digestive system, in every paper we are coming across with in the previous paper there was peristaltic movement. What is peristaltic movement? The wall of esophagus perform pseudopodia. The wall of esophagus perform peristalsis, which involves expansion and contraction of walls of esophagus. What is peristalsis? Peristalsis is a movement of walls of esophagus, which includes rhythmic expansion and contraction. So this is one of the important topic. Then the next one, out of small intestine. So here starch will get converted into maltose. So that you need to remember inside the mouth. Then we came across in the stomach. So inside the stomach, There is secretion of HCl, mucus, and pepsin. Pepsin is protein digesting hormone. Okay, next, what are lysozymes? Lysozyme is an antimicrobial enzyme present in saliva. You can remember this, lysozymes. They are antimicrobial enzyme. They are present in saliva. And pepsin functions when the pH level is in between 2 to 3.5. Thus, 2 to 3.5 is provided by HCl. So, HCl is secreted in the stomach. Then, enzyme called renin. You can write down this one. Renin, released in stomach, is active only in infant. Okay, this renin, this enzyme is secreted only in the infants, which helps in milk digestion. It converts a milk protein, casein. Okay, it converts milk protein, casein, and helps in the digestion of milk. So here, renin word you need to remember, and then lysozyme. Lysozyme, it is antimicrobial enzyme which is secreted in saliva. And pH of the stomach 3 to 3.5. Why the pH is maintained 3 in between 2 to 3.5? As pepsin acts only in between the pH range 2 to 3.5. Next one, small intestine. So in the previous paper we got like how the small intestine is designed. So here, small intestine, lysozyme का फंक्शन क्या है? लाइसोजाइम जो है वो एंटी माइक्रोबियल है, मतलब माउथ के अंदर बहुत ज़्यादा माइक्रोबियल ग्रोथ को नहीं होने देता है. सो इट इज़ प्रिवेंटिंग द ग्रोथ ऑफ माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स. फिर नेक्स्ट हमारा बाइल. व्हाट इज़ द फंक्शन ऑफ बाइल? Bile emulsifies. How the small intestine is designed? Small intestine has finger-like projections. So this is the finger-like projection of the small intestine, which is villi. Okay, so this finger-like projection, the function of villi, its function to increase the surface area of absorption. Surface area of absorption is increased by the villi. It helps in the absorption of digested food. So here, function of bile was also asked in many papers. Bile emulsifies fat present in the food. Emulsification means breaking of fat molecules into small globules. Now, pancreatic juice contains trypsin, which is protein digesting hormone. And then trypsin, it helps in digestion of protein. Then these all are not there in your NCERT course, so you need not to worry about that. Liver secretes bile juice, which contains, the sentence is important, liver secretes bile juice, bile pigment and bile salts. Bile secreted by the liver cells is normally stored in gallbladder until needed in the duodenum. So small intestine is divided into 3 parts. Okay, that is also not given in your NCERT textbook. So here, duodenum, it is secreted. Pancreas lies parallel to beneath the stomach. It is a large gland whose hexocrine region secretes digestive enzymes. Pancreas is a dwell gland. They can ask like name any dwell gland. So dwell means which is having 2 functions. Okay. So here pancreas is a dwell gland. Why we call it as dwell gland? As it secretes enzymes also and hormones also. Now enzyme secreted by pancreas is pancreatic juice, which contains pancreatic amylase, trypsin and lipase. Whereas the hormone secreted by pancreas, it secretes 2 hormones, if you remember. One is insulin and other is glucagon. Insulin, which controls the blood glucose level, which decreases the glucose level of the blood, whereas glucagon increases the blood glucose level. So insulin and glucagon both are contradictory to function. They work just opposite to each other. So insulin and glucagon, where we got like feedback mechanism. Okay, all these topics are interrelated one by other. Next, see, action of pancreatic juice. What are the different actions of the pancreatic juice? Pancreatic juice is slightly alkaline in nature. It contains trypsin, amylase, and lipase. Pancreatic juice is slightly alkaline. It contains trypsin, amylase, and lipase. Trypsin is secreted in inactive form, trypsinogen. You can remember only trypsin as you did. Don't worry about that. And trypsin, it works on the digested part of the pepsine. It converts pepsine to pepsine. Okay, trypsin already converted protein to peptones. It converts peptones to amino acid. Next, lipase. Lipase acts on emulsified fat. Emulsification is done by bile juice. So it acts on emulsified fat to convert it into fatty acid and glycerol. And finally, pancreatic amylase, which converts maltose, which was there in the mouth, to glucose. So thus the digestion will get completed in the small intestine. Small intestine is a part of complete digestion where it gets the secretion from pancreas, and itself also it secretes intestinal juice, which make the digestion to be completed. Okay, if they will ask the function of liver, what are the different functions of liver? First one, liver performs vital function. Liver is the largest gland. Okay, the question will be like, name the largest gland, name the dual gland. It is pancreas. If they will ask about the largest gland is, if they will ask about the largest gland is liver. Function of liver: storage of glycogen, removal of amino group from amino acid. It helps in the removal of amino group from amino acid. Few minutes only, give me 2 minutes so that I'll get my specs. Comments इतने छोटे छोटे आ रहे हैं कि अक्षर I'm feeling difficult to read it. Okay, some of you commented, Sohan, आज मेरे टेस्ट में कम मार्क्स आए थे, दैट्स वाई मैम ने मुझे आधे घंटा मुर्गा बना के लर्न करवाया. ओके, करवाने का पनिशमेंट दिया. ओके, 9th स्टैंडर्ड में हो, अच्छी बात है. आजकल भी पनिशमेंट मिल रहा है स्कूल में. ब्लैक स्क्रीन आया था. ओके, व्हाट इज द bioavailability of insulin and protein binding substance? So here, insulin helps in control of the blood glucose level. So here we are related to the 10th standard where we are not getting all these kind of questions here. So this is the basic preparation of the 10th board exam. So those who are appearing for the board exam, it's better if they will stay in the meeting. Okay, so here function of liver, the first one, storage of glycogen. Function of its function is storage of glycogen. Excess glucose get converted into glycogen. It's 10th level question. What is bioavailability of insulin and protein binding substance? It's not of 10th level question. Okay. Next one, removal of amino group from the amino acid. It helps in the removal of amino acid. Next, combining of amino acid with carbon dioxide to form urea. It helps in combining amino acid group with urea. Conversion of organic acid into glucose. So these are like many functions they have given, you can remember, like storage of glycogen, this is one of the important one, secretion of bile juice, storage of vitamins, detoxification is the most important part of liver, and destruction of the worn out cells. So whatever the cells are getting worn out, they get destroyed in liver. And it helps in the secretion of anticoagulant heparin. Heparin, which prevent the blood from clotting inside the body. So inside the body, blood is in liquid form, that is due to presence of heparin. Okay, this is one of the important topic which you can remember. Next, stomata's opening and closing. So next important diagram, opening and closing of the stomata. So here, how the stomata get opened. So now here, opening and closing of the stomata. Stomata is made up of guard cells. So here, when the root absorbs more water, then the water will reach to stomatal cell. So once the stomatal cell is having more load of water, it gets turgid. So due to turgidity, stomata opens and it makes the stomatal pore to open. And after transpiration, when excess water is given out by the process of transpiration, the guard cells will shrink, making the stomata to close. They can ask either about the mechanism or about the labeling. So guard cells, and then vacuole, chloroplast is also there. So here you need to label out three parts: vacuole, guard cells, and chloroplast. Now about respiration, already we discussed about aerobic and anaerobic type of respiration. Next, in the previous paper which we discussed, there we got tracheal, where the alveoli diagram was asked. So here in this diagram, trachea, then trachea is getting divided into bronchus, then finally bronchus will further terminate into bronchiole, and ultimately it will end with the alveoli. So here this is one of the diagram where they asked about the characteristics of the alveoli. So here, what are the characteristics of the wall of the alveoli? They have thin wall so that they can maximize the exchange of respiratory gases. Okay, next. Okay, this question. Each bronchus continues into each of the lungs. Trachea does not collapse when there is not much of air in it, as it is supported by rings of cartilage. Trachea is not collapsing, thin wall and rich in blood vessels. Very good. So here, collapse, why the trachea does not collapse? Because it has ring of cartilage. So ring of cartilage which prevent it from collapsing. So this is bio revision of 10th standard is going on. Next one. So bronchiole and bronchus, all these we did. What is epiglottis? So this is also one of the important topic. What is epiglottis? So there is a glottis get covered by epiglottis. Okay, epiglottis which so glottis get covered by epiglottis. Epiglottis prevents the entry of food particle in windpipe. The next one, exchange of gases, is Krebs cycle. All those are not there in the 10th, so that will be having in 11th. The next one, difference between arteries and veins. Difference between arteries and veins. So arteries, they have thick wall. Okay, we got this question in the previous paper, why the walls of the arteries are thick. Arteries, the blood in the arteries are under high pressure as it need to pump out the blood to throughout the body. So thus, to withstand the pressure, walls of arteries are thick. Walls of veins are thin. Here the blood flows rapidly. Blood flow is slow in veins. Arteries have narrow lumen. Veins have broad lumen. Walls of arteries are elastic. Walls of veins are less elastic. Blood flows with jerk. So as here the blood need to pass out throughout the body. So blood is under jerk. Here the blood flows smoothly. No valves are present. They can ask like what is the function of valve? Valve prevents the backward flow of blood. Okay, lumen, like when we see the blood vessel has got some deposition to make it thinner. So here inside there will be mucus deposition like. So this we call lumen. Okay, next one, they carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. So this exceptional case, pulmonary artery carries impure blood and pulmonary vein carries pure blood. Next, what is the membrane which covers the heart called? Name of the membrane which is covering the heart is pericardium. Pericardium is the membrane which covers the heart. Next, what is double circulation? Okay, what is double circulation? So here, when we see the circulation of the blood, we find that so heart is like getting divided into two parts. Upper two chambers are called auricles and lower two chambers are called ventricles. So when we see the human heart, it is four chambered. Upper two chambers are called atria or auricle, lower two chambers are called ventricle. So here, as the the side which is towards our left is right auricle and right ventricle, and the side which is towards our left is which is towards our right is left one, and which is towards our left is right auricle and right ventricle. So here during each cycle blood flows twice, that is one oxygenated blood is flowing towards left side and deoxygenated blood towards right side. During every event as the blood comes twice to the heart, so we call it as double circulation. Okay, what is double circulation? During every event blood flows twice to the heart, so we call it as double circulation. Let's go through with that. So here, since blood flows twice through the heart, so it is called double circulation. I'll read a little bit more. When the muscles of all four chambers of the heart are relaxed, blood flows from large vein called vena cava. So they can ask like which is the largest vein? Largest vein is vena cava, which pours blood into right atrium. So vena cava, it is consisting of superior and interior vein. So superior and interior vein collects deoxygenated blood from throughout the body, and it collects blood from throughout the body, and it will pour the blood in left vena cava, it is bringing the blood to right atrium. This blood in vena cava has very little amount of oxygen as it comes from tissue which have used up all oxygen. Pulmonary vein from lungs pour oxygenated blood into the left atrium. So when we see the circulation, so a pulmonary vein is getting pure blood from heart, from lungs. So in the lungs, the blood is getting exchanged with oxygen and carbon dioxide. So pulmonary vein is bringing pure blood from lungs and it will pour it into left atria, whereas vena cava will bring impure blood. Superior and inferior vena cava will bring impure blood from different body parts to right auricle. Then when there is contraction of the upper two chambers, blood will come to the ventricle. So here there is a wall present between the auricle and ventricle. Towards the right, towards the left side, we are having bicuspid valve, and towards left we are having bicuspid, towards right we are having tricuspid valve. So this valve is unidirectional. It will open out and blood will be pumped into ventricle. Now when ventricle will contract, from the right ventricle blood is supplied to lungs for the purification. So here the part which carries the blood to lungs for purification is pulmonary artery. So that's why we say that pulmonary artery is the only artery which carries impure blood. Generally arteries carries oxygenated blood, pure blood is there. But pulmonary artery is the only artery which carries impure blood. And here the pulmonary vein is bringing the pure blood from lungs, and then the pure blood is supplied to all the body parts through aorta. So aorta is the largest artery and vena cava is the largest vein. So this can be MCQ part. Okay. Now as during every event blood flows twice to the heart, so we call flow of blood to be having double circulation. During every event blood comes twice to the heart, so we call it as double circulation. Now the next part we had in few papers, we got what is the function of lymph. So these are the few functions of the lymph which you can note down. These are not there in your NCERT book. So here, lymph to fight against infection. Lymph fights against infection. It acts as extracellular fluid. So it is an extracellular fluid. It fights against infection to return protein and fluid from circulation to tissue. Whatever the extra protein is present in the blood, that is given out during the circulation, that is given out, again given back to the blood to carry digested fat from alimentary canal for pouring into blood. So these are the four functions which the lymphatic system has got. Lymph always flows from tissue to heart. So this is also one of the important point which you can remember. The flow or the direction of the lymph, it is from tissue to heart. Next, ECG. In 9th standard we had. What is the full form of ECG? Electrocardiogram. Next, difference between blood and lymph. What is the difference between blood and lymph? Blood is red in color, lymph is light yellow color fluid. Viscosity of blood is more. Blood is more viscous as it is dilute. Lymph is little thicker, so it is less viscous. Lymph contains RBC, platelets and leukocytes. So blood is containing RBC, WBC and platelets. So here lymph contains leukocytes, which are white in color, leukocytes and lymphocytes. Lymph contains leukocytes and lymphocytes. Blood flow rapidly. Okay, flow of the blood is rapidly. Why it flows rapidly? Because it is viscous in nature. Lymph flows slowly. Blood flows from organ to heart. So here the flow of the blood or the direction of the flow, organs to heart and from heart to organs, whereas the lymph flows only from tissue to heart. Okay, it will flow only towards heart, whereas the flow of blood is bidirectional. Out of life process only, few topics are going on. Okay, next one, excretion. Excretion in amoeba. So here, structure of nephron, for labeling it is important, or they may give the structure and they can ask few questions over here. So there is a cup-like structure which is called Bowman's capsule. Inside that blood capillaries are there, glomerulus. Then there is a tube-like structure is arising. So this tube, the first part of the tube is called proximal convoluted tubule. So as lot of convolutions is there, we call it as proximal convoluted tubule, and this part U shape is called Hanley's loop, and the last one is distal convoluted tubule. Then there is a tubular structure where the reabsorption, in this tubular structure, reabsorption of the things are taking place. So whenever there is excretion is taking place, along with the excretory filtrate, it contains amino acid, glucose and water, excess of water. So this excess of water and useful substances like amino acid and proteins, all those are reabsorbed. Okay, as there is selective reabsorption. Okay, selective things are getting reabsorbed. So here we call it as selective reabsorption site. And then these capillaries, this tubular structure is having rich supply of blood capillaries where the reabsorb, whatever the thing is reabsorbed, that is again given back to the blood. Each kidney contains millions of nephrons. Okay, now here they can ask the difference between unit of excretion and unit of respiration. So what is the difference between unit of excretion and unit of respiration? Unit of excretion is nephron, unit of respiration is alveoli. Okay, you need to write difference between them. So what are their functions? And about their structure you can write a little bit, like here the nephron, which is having cup shape of structure, whereas the alveoli is balloon like structure. There is rich supply of capillaries, and then its skin is moist one. Next, ADH, which controls the water level of the blood. ADH, antidiuretic hormone, or vasopressin, concentrates the urine. So here how the amount of water content is controlled in urine. So that is with the help of ADH. ADH is antidiuretic hormone, antidiuretic hormone, which controls the amount of water present in the urine. Next, so here we completed this topic. Dialysis already you most probably did. In which part of excretory system nephron is located? In which part of excretory system nephron is located? So those are attending, will you answer? In which part of excretory system nephron is located? Next question, name the blood vessel that brings nitrogenous waste to the kidney. Blood vessel which brings nitrogenous waste to the kidney. So it's renal vein which brings nitrogenous waste, and then nephron is present in kidney. Okay, next one, excretion in plant. So plant doesn't have any excretory system. It excretes through the different body parts. So already you read like leaves where it contains stomata. Their exchange, gaseous exchange is taking place. And bark, in the woody plant there is the bark contains lenticel through which the exchange is taking place. And root contains root hair. So these are the parts through which the excretion is carried out. Now next, okay, out of life processes, mostly all the questions are completed here. Why the circulation in human heart is called double circulation? Just now we discussed blood circulation in human heart is called double circulation because the blood passes through the heart twice in order to complete one cycle. So the blood passes through the heart twice in order to complete one cycle. So we call it as double circulation, as there is oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. So both the blood is flowing twice to the heart. So we call it as double circulation. Now, so here we got diagrammative questions. So let's start with that. So So last few questions. If you give answer, so I'll feel happy like you're able to find out answer. What is the green color of the leaf? What is the green color of the leaf peel due to? Where it is found? Start saying answers. What is the green color of the leaf? What is the green color of the leaf? So this is already you know chlorophyll. Give one difference between autotrophs and heterotrophs. That's also very simple. What will happen to the plant if its xylem is removed? Xylem's main function, it helps in xylem's main function. Okay, xylem's main function. You wrote stomata. Where the chlorophyll is present, chlorophyll is present in chloroplast. It is not in stomata. Stomata has got the different parts. If you see the leaf, देखो, if you see the leaf has got upper epidermis and lower epidermis. In the lower epidermis, stomata is present, and here it has got palisade tissue. This we call palisade tissue. Inside the palisade tissue, there is chloroplast, and this chloroplast contains chlorophyll. Okay, it's not like stomata is having chlorophyll. Stomata is having only the function. It is a pore which is present in the lower epidermis of the leaf. There is no concern related to the chlorophyll. Okay, it only closes and opens to make the gaseous exchange and helps in the transpiration. They can ask like what is the function of the stomata. Okay, so stomata is not at all related to chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is present in chloroplast, which is present in the palisade tissue. Leaf has got two parts. One is palisade tissue and other is spongy tissue. Okay, so in the palisade tissue, chloroplast is present. Inside the chloroplast, chlorophyll is present. Okay, next one. Why is blood called fluid connective tissue? So as it is in liquid form, it connects all the body parts. In what two ways is glucose oxidized to provide energy? Okay, how the glucose is getting oxidized? By aerobic method and anaerobic method. Next, why is the color of the urine is yellow? So this is little different question. So we'll discuss it. Why the urine is yellow in color? Saliva already you know. And describe the activity. So these things already we did. Question number 8. Why the color of the urine is yellow? So here, as chlorine contains nitrogenous waste, so it is yellow in color. Next, so all these we completed. Next question is related to labeling. Heart, lungs. So lungs, larynx, pharynx, all those are there. So here from out of the lungs, we got only one question. Alveoli are thin-walled, large in number. They are highly elastic. Their wall is highly elastic. It's a sac-like structure which has rich supply of capillaries. So this is related to the characteristics of alveoli. Next, heart already you did. Human excretory system. It is made up of pair of kidney. Just above the kidney there is adrenal gland. Then it has got vena cava where the nitrogenous blood is supplied. Renal artery to get the purified blood. Then ureter through which filtrate is passed out to urinary bladder and is given out through urethra. Okay, next nephron already we completed. Structure of neuron. So this is important for the 9th standard, not for the 10th one. So in the previous question we got question related to reflex arc. So reflex arc for the rough diagram, receptor, skin is the receptor from where it is getting the reception. Then via sensory neuron it will pass to spinal cord. From spinal cord through motor neuron it will reach to effector where it will react. Due to the react, whatever the sensation it is getting, it will respond to that. If the structure is asked in detail, you need to draw this one. In the previous paper, they gave this structure and they asked to label out. So here, the first one, receptor. From receptor, efferent neuron. Efferent neuron will pass out to spinal cord, and through efferent neuron, it will come to the muscle cells. What is reflex arc? The pathway of reflex action is called reflex arc. What is reflex action? Sudden, automatic and immediate mechanical action in response to stimulus. It is a sudden, automatic, immediate mechanical action in response to stimulus is called reflex action. So here, reflex action definition and reflex arc both are important. Next, related to the structure of brain. Brain is divided into three parts: forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Forebrain has olfactory lobe, then occipital lobe. I don't know whether in detail you prepared it or not. So here, if we see brain has got two cerebral lobes, cerebellum. It has got frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, occipital lobe. Frontal lobe, creative ideas. So whatever the ideas we are getting, that is in the frontal lobe of the cerebrum. Ability to abstract, reasoning, decision making. So here, reasoning and decision making is under control of cerebrum only. Next, expression of emotions, all these by frontal lobe. Parietal lobe, perception to touch, pain, heat, cold, knowledge about the position in space. So here, about touch, pain, heat and cold, that is in parietal lobe. So it is related to temperature. Temporal lobe, it perceives sound, smell and memory and language comprehension. So understanding is under the control of temporal lobe. Occipital, this is related to visual information. So whatever the shapes and color is recognized, that is by occipital lobe. Frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal, occipital. Frontal related to creative idea and decision. Parietal related to touch, pain, heat and cold. Temporal related to smell, memory and sound. Occipital related to vision. So occipital is related to vision, temporal for smell and memory, and parietal for touch and heat and cold. And this is for decision making and emotions expression. Now after that, midbrain it connects the forebrain and hindbrain. Next, cerebellum. Cerebellum is important part, is the largest part of the hindbrain and the second largest part of the brain. It lies behind the cerebrum. So let's discuss about the functions of cerebellum. Cerebellum is the largest part of the hindbrain. It is the second largest part of the brain. It lies behind the cerebrum. So cerebellum, it is just behind the cerebrum. It is divided into two cerebral hemisphere and main function to regulate muscle coordination. So it helps in coordination and regulates the muscle coordination and responsible for the maintenance of posture, bending, jumping, walking, all these are under control of cerebellum. Next, pons. from human like brain, you need to learn about functions and labeling. So when we see the brain, so here frontal part, the last one frontal, parietal, just now we discussed frontal, parietal, occipital, and the bottom one is temporal lobe. So this complete is cerebrum. It is made up of two hemispheres, frontal, parietal, occipital, temporal. Then cerebellum is just below the cerebrum. Function of medulla. It is the lowest part of the brainstem and vital center for the essential life processes. So this already we discussed. So this diagram is important along with structure of brain. So prior to your exam, you need to refer those two diagrams. Okay, now folding of touch me not plant leaf and the tendril one, thigmotropism. So here directional movement of curvature in response to stimulus. So if there is tropism, we will write like it is in response to touch, in response to stimulus. Thigmo means touch. When it is response of the stimulus towards the stimulus, we write tropism. If it is neither towards nor away the stimulus, we will write nastism. So thigmonastic. If it is nastic, means neither towards nor away the stimulus. If it is thigmotropism, means towards stimulus. In our previous paper, we discussed about nastic movement and tropic movement. So once again, let's read in detail about their difference. So here, difference between nastic movement. These are non-directional movements. Nastic movement, these are non-directional movement that occur neither towards nor away from the stimulus. It is neither towards nor away the stimulus. And tropic movement, these are directional movement which occur towards or away from the stimulus, either towards or away the stimulus, that is related to stimulus. These are caused by variation in surrounding environment and occur because of trigger change in the plant cells. So when there is sudden change in the plant cell, how the nastic movement is taking place? Nastic movement we find in touch me not plant. So touch me not plant leaves, when they are touched, soon they will get folded. Whatever the direction, हार्मोन्स ऑफ प्लांट को हिंदी में अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए. ठीक है, अभी हार्मोन्स ऑफ प्लांट अगर हम देखें तो पहले ये टॉपिक एक कंप्लीट कर लेती हूँ. ये हमारा कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन के टॉपिक्स हैं. तो अभी यहाँ पे कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन में हम लोगों का क्या क्या टॉपिक चलता है. देखो, कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन में पहले हम लोगों के तो ट्रॉपिक मूवमेंट्स आते हैं. ठीक है, पहला हो गया फोटोट्रॉपिज्म. एक बार थोड़े शॉर्ट में बता दे रहे हैं, उसके बाद हम लोग हार्मोन वाले टॉपिक पे पहुंचे हैं. फोटोट्रॉपिज्म वेयर द मूवमेंट इज टुवर्ड्स द लाइट. ठीक है, फोटोट्रॉपिज्म वेयर द मूवमेंट इज टुवर्ड्स द लाइट. देन हाइड्रोट्रॉपिज्म वेयर द मूवमेंट इज टुवर्ड्स द वाटर. यहाँ पे टॉपिक्स मेरे को मिल नहीं रहे हैं. हाँ, when the movement is towards water we call it as hydrotropism. If it is towards light, phototropism. If it is towards gravity, geotropism. If it is towards water, hydrotropism. Then every type of tropism is having two different divisions. It can be positive or it can be negative. Positive मतलब towards और negative मतलब away. जैसे अभी अगर हम geotropism देखें तो geotropism में root जो है वो towards the gravity जाता है, लेकिन shoot जो है वो against the gravity. तो shoot जो है वो negative tropism, negative geotropism दिखा रहा है, और root जो है वो positive geotropism. जो तुमको related word देंगे, जैसे भी chemotropism. When the movement is towards the chemical, we call it as chemotropism. Pollen grains, when get deposited on the stigma, there is development of the pollen tube, that is in response to chemical, and the pollen tube will enter into micropyle end, and from there the pollen grain will enter into ovule. तो वो हमारा chemotropism हो गया. response towards chemical. अब जैसे तुमने बोला है हार्मोन्स के बारे में, बस तुमको यहाँ पे ट्रॉपिज्म में इतना ही याद रखना है. चलो अभी हार्मोन्स के बारे में एक बार अच्छे से पढ़ लें. सो व्हाट आर phytohormones? What are phytohormones? The function of control and coordination in plant is performed by chemical substance known as plant hormone or phytohormones. So what are phytohormones? Chemicals which are present in the plant which helps in the coordination in plant. तो फंक्शन ऑफ कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन. अभी कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन मतलब हम कैसे कोऑर्डिनेट कर रहे हैं. अभी मैं कुछ बोल रही हूँ तो तुम सब सुन रहे हो, तो कोऑर्डिनेशन हमारा कैसे हो रहा है? बाय हियरिंग एंड बाय विजुअल रिसेप्शन. देख रहे हो और सुन रहे हो, तो इस तरह से हम कोऑर्डिनेट कर रहे हैं. वैसे ही जब कोई मतलब कोऑर्डिनेशन के लिए हमको क्या क्या चीज़ें चाहिए? एक तो हमको सेंस ऑर्गन्स चाहिए, फिर हार्मोन्स चाहिए, ब्रेन, स्पाइनल कॉर्ड एंड न्यूरॉन्स. सो दीज आर द मेन ऑर्गन्स विच आर इंटररिलेटेड फॉर द कोऑर्डिनेशन. लेकिन प्लांट्स में कोई स्पेसिफिक ऑर्गन्स नहीं है कि जो कि कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन में हेल्प करें. मोरोवर सर्टन हार्मोन्स आर देयर. लाइक हमारे ह्यूमन, अगर हम लोग एनिमल से कंपेयर करें तो नंबर ऑफ हार्मोन्स प्रेजेंट इन द प्लांट इज वेरी फ्यू which respond in different way and help them in coordination. So what are phytohormones? Phytohormones are those chemicals which helps in control and coordination in plant. Phytohormones are chemical which helps in control and coordination in plant. So total there are 5 phytohormones: auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, abscisic acid and ethylene. In NCERT ethylene is not given. Okay, auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, abscisic acid and ethylene. So here, unlike animal, electric impulse are not generated in plant. In plants there is no electric impulse, as there are no neurons present in the plants. They cannot respond to quick responses. They respond to stimuli, जैसे भी हम लोगों ने बोला hydrotropism, phototropism, but the response is very slow. The stimulated cells release a chemical compound which recognizes and transmit information. These chemical compounds are called hormones. Plant contains certain chemicals which recognize certain responses. Now main hormones present in the plant, पहला हो गया ऑक्सीन. ऑक्सीन स्टेम और रूट टिप से रिलीज होता है. ऑक्सीन इज रिलीज्ड. व्हाट आर द कैरेक्टर्स? Stem and root release auxin, and it initiates rooting, that it helps in growth, promote flowering, helps in cell division, used as herbicides. herbicides मतलब जो भी herbs होते हैं उनको किल करने के लिए ऑक्सीन को स्प्रे करते हैं. ओके, अनवांटेड ग्रोथ ऑफ herbs. So function of auxin. Auxin promotes the growth of root and shoot. So we call it as growth promoter. कई बार पूछते हैं कि give example of promoter. Promoter means which promote the growth. An inhibitor which will inhibit, control the growth. So auxin is a growth promoter. It is secreted from root and shoot tip. It helps in rooting, flowering, cell division and used as herbicide. Gibberellin, found in algae, angiosperm and gymnosperm. So gibberellin, site of release you need not to learn about. So gibberellin main function, it increases the stem length and regulates the shape of the fruits. Increases the stem length and regulates the shape of the fruit. Next, cytokinin. Cytokinin and auxin, they are growth promoters. They increases the growth. Okay, it promotes cell division, promotes nutrient metabolism. Next, ethylene, produced by metabolic process during growth and development. By metabolic process during growth and development, ethylene also promotes growth, helps in flowering and fruit ripening. It helps in fruit ripening. They can ask like fruits are ripened due to which hormone? Then ethylene. Promotes root growth and root hair formation. Abscisic acid, it is growth inhibitor. Keep in mind, like growth inhibitor is abscisic acid. So how it inhibits? Once the flowering or fruit formation is done, it will indicate that now no more further growth is needed. Now you stop. Okay, so that the ripening will fasten. It inhibits the germination, inhibits the plant growth, responsible for fall of plant. So like whenever the leaf and fruits get ripen, they fall down with the help of abscisic acid. तो अब यहाँ पे हम लोग को लर्न करते समय कैसे याद रखना है, पहला हो गया ऑक्सिन, ऑक्सिन ग्रोथ प्रमोटर है, साइटोकाइनिन ग्रोथ प्रमोटर है, इथाइलिन ग्रोथ प्रमोटर है। ये सारे प्लांट के पार्ट्स को ग्रो होने में हेल्प कर रहे हैं। ऑक्सिन जो है वो शूट और रूट के टिप पे ग्रो सिक्रीट होता है। और उसके बाद है एब्सिसिक एसिड, इट इज ग्रोथ इनहिबिटर विच कंट्रोल्स द ग्रोथ। इट inhibits means it will stop the germination, stop the plant growth, and it is responsible for the fall down of ripened fruits or leaves. Okay, Vivek, anything more? ये वाला टॉपिक कंप्लीट हो गया है। अगर तुमको कोई पिक चाहिए तो मुझे फिर मैसेज करना, सो दैट आई विल सेंड इट। हार्मोन्स वाला तुमको चाहिए तो ओके। नेक्स्ट, difference between endocrine and hexocrine glands. I don't know whether you did this or not. जिब्रेलिन, फिर से जिब्रेलिन जो है वो ग्रोथ एक मिनट, हाँ ये वाला टॉपिक एक ले लो, उसके बाद फिर मैं बता रही हूँ। इथाइलिन एक जो है तुम्हारा बस वो ग्रोथ इनहिबिटर है, बाकी जिब्रेलिन ग्रोथ प्रमोट कर रहा है। बस तुमको इतना याद रखना है कि इट इज़ अ ग्रोथ प्रमोटर। Okay, next है endocrine gland and exocrine gland. There are two types of glands present in the body. Endocrine gland, they helps in the secretion of, so here secretion of hormones by endocrine glands, and exocrine glands secretion of enzymes. Endocrine glands are ductless glands. They don't have any duct. Okay, so the secretion is directly flow in the blood. So their secretion is directly flown in the blood. Endocrine gland, they helps in the secretion of hormones. Exocrine gland, they helps in the secretion of enzymes. The secretion is directly poured into blood, and the secretion via some blood vessels passes to the blood. Then endocrine glands, they are ductless glands. Exocrine glands, they are ductile glands. Next, endocrine glands secretion. So here the gland are devoid of duct. No ducts are there. They usually occur in isolation, separately, somewhere they are present, isolated. The glands pour the secretion into the circulatory system. The target site is far away from its endocrine gland. So generally hormones are secreted and their site of action will be far away. Okay, they will be secreted somewhere where they act somewhere else. Secretion consists of hormones or informational molecules. Only you need to remember hormones. Hexocrine glands, they possess duct. They do not occur in isolation, always they present in combination. The glands pour their secretion over target either directly or through the duct. So directly they will pour or through duct. Target site is adjacent to the gland. So it is nearby the gland. If you recall back salivary gland. So salivary gland secretes saliva which acts directly in the mouth only. So target site is nearby the site of presence. Secretion are various like enzymes, mucus or excretory substances. So this we completed with the endocrine and hexocrine gland. एक बस मेंडलिफ्स वाला एक रह गया है। मोस्ट वाले ये सारे हार्मोन्स के बारे में तो आता ही होगा, किया होगा। हाँ, अभी 2 चैप्टर के और बाकी रहे हैं, एक रिप्रोडक्शन वाला और नेक्स्ट हाइब्रिड ये वाला मेंडलिफ्स मोनोहाइब्रिड एंड डाईहाइब्रिड। सो ये हम लोग अब नेक्स्ट सेशन में लें। अब मैं क्लास वाइंड अप कर रही हूँ। विवेक, अगर कोई पिक्स तुमको चाहिए होंगे तो मेरे को एक बार मैसेज कर देना व्हाट्सएप पे, तो वो वाले मैं भेज दूँगी। Okay, thank you those who attended. So we'll have next class by tomorrow.